Welcome to Business IQ channel, where you grow your business intelligence, your network, and your inventiveness. I am your host. My name is Jeswills Eleke. I'm a patent holder with certifications in corporate innovation, research methodology, psychology, and corporate training. We will be continuing on the series, Business the Right Way. Today, we're going to be taking episode 3, Setting Your Business Goals. One thing comes to mind when I say setting your business goals. Set a trackable business model. Have a trackable business model. Now, how do I mean? Now, when you are starting with your corporate structure, the next thing you should look at is your customers. So company, customers before your product and services. Don't do company, product and services, then customers. Let your customers be at the center of your business ideals. Now, traditional ventures will naturally, set up, do an elaborate plan. But for lean startup, it's best to have experimental models. So traditional ventures deal based on their intuition, what they think the customers want. But for lean startup, you are going to be using the customer feedback. You don't need to do an elaborate plan or design, before you launch into the market. You can do that iteratively. You can do iterative design with a lean startup. Now, why is this model also good? This model is good because you can use it as a stage gating process. Now, in business, there's something called the gating process. At each stage, there's a gate. This gate can either allow you to continue the business, which is the goal, or you could pivot, or you could pause it, or you could kill the business. Now, you should have a checklist for your business where you will say, this is what I'm expecting, and these are, the levels at which I can run this business. If it goes far beyond what you are planning, it is best to either pause it if it's a very good idea that may be very, promising in the future, or you kill it. Now, it is necessary to count your losses if you are going to lose, in the process. Now, we have to use these models to also reduce the risks, mitigate the risks. So in this situation, you have models. If there are situations like the pandemic that just passed, you will be able to say, okay, these are what is happening. These are the feedback, the current feedback to the customers. So you could adjust your models. But before getting to your customers, it's always important to draw up the time frame or the timelines for your production. So let's assume you take a teen juice to the market or a teen drink to the market, and you're expecting the teens to tell you what they like or what their choices are depending on their, the time and all that. You must have to factor in a lot of things, before you make that decision. Now, the teens could ask, when will this be in the market? You should be able to already know this before getting into asking your customers. You should do a lot of your homework. Your models require a lot of homework, a lot of planning, a lot of, but short things. It doesn't have to be so elaborate like a large organization. Now, let me tell you something. Large organizations are actually using the lean startup this time, okay? So because it's far more efficient, it's cost effective, it's cheaper to run than to, put in everything you have, you launch into the market, and you eventually see that the market doesn't fit what you're looking for, or, some God factors will get into the way and, cause you to have great losses. Now, what are we saying about these goals? Set your goals along a path. There is a Horizon 3 model that tells us that we can do business within 3 horizons. The first horizon, which is the Horizon 1, should be your core business, the one that gives you day-to-day income. And your Horizon 2 should build upon your Horizon 1. While your Horizon 3 is a future of uncertainties. You can plan something very mind-blowing, So when you're planning such things, it helps you to absorb any uncertainty that comes your way while you're still in Horizon 1 or Horizon 2. It's good to plan for these uncertain futures. Now, your horizon 1, as I said, is your core business model. I'll use phones for example. Cell phones that we have today can improve on their cameras, can improve on their screen sizes, twice a year or thereabout. These are your core businesses. Now, horizon 2, we are assuming that these things are not already in the market. Horizon 2 could be the gear, the wristwatches that can, you can use to take your phone calls, you can use to read your text messages, send emails. Now, this can be your horizon 2. But sometimes horizon 2 can stand alone. So sometimes they don't need to, integrate or, move into horizon 1. The idea is that horizon 2 becomes 1 at the future, and horizon 3 becomes 2, and it continues in that process. But sometimes the horizon 2 could require you to start it alone. You could get a new business registration and all that to stand it alone. Now, in the uncertain future, which is the horizon 3, still using the cell phone as an example, it's possible that there will be a device that will work with your neural networks. It will work, it could use a chip in your body. It could, you could think about, you could make calls from your mind, you could end calls, you could visualize things, you could listen to the calls without having to, use an earpiece. It's, ringing inside of your head. That could be a very great imagination. That may not happen today, that may not happen tomorrow, but it's good to plan these things. Now, why are they good to plan? While you're planning this kind of future, it means that you have increased in your research and development. Now, when you increase in your research, it's possible that you find something that will make your core business to get even far much better. You can immediately, transition your horizon 3 into your horizon 2 through this research and development. It's encouraging to do research and development. You can get another company, you do open innovation rather than just taking the cost of research and development all to yourself. You could contract a company, you could read up things from university, you could contact the university. These people do loads of researches. Now, while you're having these horizon 1, 2, and 3, you need to fuel them. You need to continue to, build upon them. So the revenue you get from your horizon 1, you can decide that 60% of it will go to horizon 1, which is ideal. Now, then 30% could go to horizon 2 and 10% to horizon 3, depending on your appetite for risks. Now, so people could do 40 in 1, 40 in horizon 2, and 20 in horizon 3, depending on their risk. Companies like Tesla, they have higher appetites for risks. So they do more for their horizon 2 and 3 rather than their 1. So their 1 could be 20%, then the 2 and 3 could be 40% respectively. Now, don't forget, you do these things, you do these plans along a very, coordinated path, okay? So don't put your business paths in very far locations. Don't do things that are very unrelated. Do things along a path. So when you are planning, you plan along a path. This helps you to, get much more coordinated, and you will increase your efficiency and your performance. Now, I will end this by saying some quotes. James Joyce says that mistakes are portals for discovery. So when you are making mistakes, know that there are discoveries which can go during this mistake period. Okay, you can understand, you can discover things during this mistake period. And also, according to the founder of Honda Motors, Soichiro Honda, he says that success is 99% failure. So you be careful to say, when you're making those mistakes, you have to fire the person. Please know, as long as the person is not going to repeat those mistakes, but you're going to learn from it. If you fire someone who's made some, let's say, grave failures, okay, or grave mistakes, my question is, who is the best person to tell why that mistake is done and how not to repeat it? It's still the same person. Make sure you learn in your mistakes. I will use an example, Viagra. Viagra was not designed for male, stimulus and all of that. It was designed to, help people with, I think, was hypertension and all that. But it did not turn out to be the correct thing that they expected it to be. But they decided to get feedback, and the feedback turned out that it was, enhancing their sexual system. So what happened? Viagra became the most successful failure. So always remember to allow mistakes, allow room for correction, and continue to improve while you're building your goals along a uniform path or related path. Thank you. I'll be open for questions.
Thank you, sir. I have two questions here. The first one is, how do one mitigate risks?
Mitigating risks are part of the things you do in business. Corporate innovation, on every form of innovation comes with risks. So you have to learn how to mitigate risk by calculating the risk, measuring the risk, and you can do that by planning, extensive planning, and watching what is happening. So don't take your eyes off the business while you have your models running, while you're getting your customers. Continue to check the competition in the market. Even the weather can affect your business, and so many factors. The government can affect your business. You continue to listen and know how to go back to the drawing board in lean experimentation. That's called pivoting, and improving or adjusting what you have to mitigate or reduce your risks.
Okay, the second one is, any advice on investments?
Investment, a lot of things to be invested on, a lot of opportunities out there, and a lot of people make a lot of mistakes in investing. I always advise that when you're investing, look at yourself, understand your appetite for risk. There are a lot of behavioral biases when you are investing. According to a professional advice, when you are investing, use a pyramid, for example. A pyramid always has a smaller aspect of it on the top than the larger part below. So you could share it into two, and using the downside as your protection layer. Now this downside protection layer, you can do bonds, you could do gold backed up investment, you could buy gold and keep some more of your security, but the interests are always lower, but the risks are almost zero. Now, and the upside potential is where you have the potential to make 300%, 500%, but let it be the small version of your investment. You can do forex, you can do normal trading. There are a lot of things to do that have a lot of risk. Now, some people have decided to divide this into three. Now, as we said, the downside is the protection, the upside is the potential. They have a hybrid middle. The hybrid middle has some form of protection and some form of risks, rather than lose all. The upside, you can lose everything. The downside, you lose nothing. But the middle side, they can measure, there are some stocks that have a great level of risk and also a great level of protection. So while you are doing that, always read up things, seek professional advice, and do these things based on who you are designed to be. Your personality is important, so you don't have issues with your business goals and your investment policies.
All right, thank you, sir. That'll be all.
Thank you for watching the Business IQ channel, where you grow your intelligence, innovation, and your network. We're open to questions. You can write down your questions on the comment section, and we will get back to you maybe on another video, or we are going to reply on the comment section. Thank you and have a productive day.